Creating a budget is important, but it doesn't do you any good unless you actually follow up on it to see how you're doing. So that is exactly what I'm going to do with you today. Hey there, Brittany Flammer here with videos all about budgeting and money saving tips. If those interest you, then hit that subscribe button and watch my videos. In my last video, I walked you through creating a new budget in Google Sheets. Now we have implemented that budget for a month. It's the end of the month. I'm going to do an update, walk you through, see how we did, see what changes I need to make for the next month. Here I've pulled up my budget in Google Sheets. If you want this free template, grab it in the description box down below. When we filled out the budget, we were filling out this expected tab. Now it's the end of the month. We've spent our money. We are going to go through the actual tab and see how we actually did on our budget. As a little tip, Google Sheets automatically saves your changes, which is awesome. Unless you accidentally delete things that you want and don't realize it, because I was creating the free template for everyone. So I copied it, made a bunch of changes, and deleted all of this stuff. And then I realized that my original had been deleted, so I had to go back and redo a lot of stuff. So just be careful. It automatically saves. Just be careful. Just be careful. For income, my husband's salary, we did not know what it was going to be. We used smart assets. We figured it'd be around $4,600. His actual take-home pay is $4,718. So that is better than what we expected, which is awesome. And I also forgot the advanced child tax credit. I completely forgot that we've been getting that. Moving on to our donations, we pay a 10% on our gross income. And since we got that child tax credit, we got a lot more income than we were expecting, so I paid a lot more. And I only have one entry here because I paid this all in one lump sum. We pay it all to our church and then they divide it up. So I am going to combine it for future. I'm going to put it all as one here because I just make one payment. So we paid more there because we made more, which woohoo, we feel good about that, right? Now let's move on to savings. A little note about savings. I love savings because it's all automatic. We have set up the accounts and we have automatic transfers. So transfers into our car fund, transfers into our house fund. Everything is automatic. I don't have to do anything. It's all on autopilot. I just want to take a look at it to see if we need to make any changes in our budget. Emergency savings, 0 because it's full. Our retirement, I did notice our retirement is on Autopay and I forgot to adjust it. We have only been doing $200 a month and I wanted to bump it up to $350. So I'm going to make a little note right here. And as soon as I get off to the computer, I am going to adjust that. So I just do it once and it's set for the future. I don't have to think about it for the future. Vacation, right on. Car fund, right on. House expenses, Christmas, extracurricular for kids. All of these are automatic. So I set them up once and they will do it every single month or however often I want them to. They will make those transfers. So I do it every month and I can forget about it. But then if I need to change it, if we want to add more to an account or less, then I can change it. It just takes a few seconds, but I don't have to think about it. So it's awesome. Now, boring bills, these are things we don't have a whole lot of control over. I try to minimize them as much as possible, use less electricity, gas, use less water, try to minimize, but there's only so much we can do, so they're pretty boring and straightforward. Mortgage, that's the same every month. Our gas, we spent a lot less than planned. We set up this levelized average payment, which will be $72 a month, but this is for last month, so it hasn't come into effect. So we only paid $20. Electricity was the opposite. We've got solar panels and now we will be having lower payments, but this is from last month before the solar panels were connected, so we spent more. City bill, we went over, but this is an average. It was hot in summer and we've been watering our lawn more, so I'm not gonna make any changes to that. I just know that this month we're spending a little more and the future months we'll spend a little bit less. Life insurance, I typed in the wrong number because it's 44 for both my husband and I. So I need to adjust that for next month. Car insurance, they divide it by 6 months. So we pay 5 months and then the last month is just what's remainder, so we paid a little bit less, but normally it'll be 75. I can subtract medical because that comes out of our paycheck. Phone bill, what we expected. Internet, gas, I went over, but all of our cars are full right now, so I think it'll average out next month, so I'm just going to leave it. Piano, right on. So we spent $100 more than we were planning on.
So I can tweak that for next month. Now let's go ahead and move on to fun bills. I call these fun bills because I think they're fun, but I use fun bills. I don't actually calculate how much I spent on each of these individual categories because they're small and there's lots of transactions. I use my envelope. I've got a video explaining how I use my envelope. I just know that I have 805 for the month, so I divide it up by the number of weeks and I spend my weekly allotment. And if I am underspending, if I don't spend all of it, then at the end of the month, whatever I have left over, I will transfer that over to something fun. So right now that's going to our vacation fund. So I actually grabbed my envelope. I only spent 685 and my total is 805. So I had that 100 and whatever that is, I don't know the math, 100 something extra I transferred over to vacation. So I still spent 805. So I just typed in 805 rather than adding up all these individual, but you can add up all the individual. I just use my envelope so I know that I'm spending my full amount. Let's take a look and see how I did overall. It does all the math for me. Everything's auto-calculated. My bottom line is I have lots of money left to spend because of the child tax credit that I had forgotten about. So my husband and I have had conversations about what we're going to do with that money. We might have to repay some of it, so we're going to set some of it aside. We've talked about adding a little bit more to our children's 529s with that money. We've also talked about putting that towards our family trip that we want to do in South Africa next year, or South America next year. We haven't decided for sure, so it's still sitting in our checking account until I decide. But I look at this and I see we need to have a conversation to decide what we're going to do with it. Now let's make a few tweaks for next month. What I'm going to do is select everything, Control C to copy, come down here, add a new sheet, rename it for the month of October, and then I'm going to Control V to paste it. So I have everything. So I go through and delete under the actual, I delete everything. I just delete the white cells because these colored ones have formulas, so I don't touch those, but I just delete the actual, and now I'll make tweaks and changes for this next month. Child tax credit, I'm going to add that here. Tithing, I'm going to adjust to, it's 880. Scrolling down, everything looks good. Gas, I think it will be averaged out by next month, and I think our solar panels will be functioning for next month. Our life insurance, I needed to adjust. Everything else looks good. Looks good. Now let's look at our overall. Bottom line, so essentially I have almost $1,200 we need to figure out what we're gonna do. So I need to have a conversation with my husband to see where we're gonna put that.
I go through this process at the end of the month. It takes me 10 to 15 minutes. I update our budget, make changes for the next month, and I check our net worth to see how we're doing. If you wanna see what our current net worth is, check out my video. I'll have it playing somewhere here on the screen. If you want this template with Google Sheets for your budget, feel free to grab it for free in the description box down below. Thanks so much. See you in the next video.